What up? Chav Gimel Sivan. We live at our times. Like our Shnei Zaman these days. It means we live at our Torah portions. Chitas Chumash Tilim Tanya. Chulu Chulu Chulu. Zohar Kol Torah. Messages from Hashem Yisrael. So is everything else. Everything around us. We're one with Hashem. Hashem is one with His people. Chelik Muhammad Mamash with Am Yisrael. Yishael. From Rav Ariel Bar Tzodek, to say in the name who said so. Yishael, the ones that straight to Hashem, the ones who sing and shout, the ones that sing to Hashem is about. They're together with Hashem, the ones who sing and praise Hashem is about. They're together with Hashem is about. Yishael, the ones that straight to Hashem is about. This is Yisrael, because we have a Jewish neshama. Chelim Mamash, together with Hashem Yisrael. I was just talking to my friend. We're discussing, the power to heal him. So if you want it, because I'm looking, I was talking to Hashem. It says, I want to get it, trying to get, like a look at myself. I'm operating at 1%. I'm trying to get at least a 10%. But in general, just discussing the power to heal him. Trying to move things, trying to move the change, things are moving on the pace, everything's always moving, everything's always happening, things are happening all the time, khulu, 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 it's all, God's plan. God's plan, God's plan. And she asked me if I love her. I said I only love my bed and my mom, I only love her partly. Whatever. So I'm losing my train of thought. So anyways, looking to move the change and it's like getting different epiphanies the last couple of days. The last week getting crazy epiphanies, and one of the epiphanies I discussed with my friend. One of the epiphanies is the power to heal him. That if you knew the power to heal him, like the Riyadh is actually Tzemach Tzedek says the Riyadh springs and the Rebbe compiles and that Yom Yom. If we knew the power to heal him, we wouldn't put down the Sefer to heal him even for 1 second. Literally changes the fabric of the nature of the world. Everybody's in their own world. Hashem created a world for each and every one of us, and we have what to do with us. We're actually converging to worlds. This is my thoughts, we converge to worlds. Hashem's able to do these things. Hashem's infinite. Things are happening all over the place in infinite dimensions, infinite planes of existence, infinite, I just saw, the other day, I just, had a vision, as a vision where it was traveling as light and all of these different planes, just to understand, the reality. This is a point. I think one of the big psychologists, one of them, I don't know. There was Freud and there was the other guy. So the other guy, it was that we live in, one is the Rav Ariel, but today was the world is not linear. The world is, I believe, Ariel, but it is, I don't know. The world is not black and white. It's infinite, and the Torah is black and white, but the white represents the infinity of Hashem Yisparach. Forever, everything, He was, He is, and He will always be. Things are happening in multiple. Hashem is here, Hashem is there, Hashem is truly everywhere. Up, down, whatever. So things are happening on infinite levels here and there, everywhere. What's my point? I keep losing my train of point. The point is the power to heal him. My point is I want to get the power to heal him. All right, we want to change the world. We want to bring today I had another epiphany that because that starts from the spiritual aspects. As you change, mind over matter, we change things. The spiritual creates the physicality. Like the Baal HaTanya states, states that for every physical calamity, it's attached to a spiritual calamity. So if we want to fix, we have to go to the root of the problems, and the root of the problem starts in the spirituals. The Torah mitzvah, about the points is 365 and 265. I think 265, 365, whatever, something like that. The 630 mitzvahs plus, up to 620 with the rabbinic additions. So each mitzvah, each tas and lotas represents artery and vein, like it states in Tanya. This has to do with the calamities that involve the root cause. If we want to know what's wrong with us physically, we have to go to the root cause in its spirituality. And different tzaddikim, they're able to do that. They know how to do this, they're able to see that. Ruach HaKodesh, they're able to do these things, see, and they're able to advise people specifically towards the calamity and what's missing within their Torah and mitzvot. Taselota says in order to heal them, chulu, chulu, chulu. So, one will go back to the infinite power to heal them. If we want to get anywhere, people want to get, first the inyan of, to know what to pray for, each individual, what to pray for themselves. We have to look, the inyan of Cheshbon Nefesh, looking within ourselves and things that we need to improve on, and things that we need is the gula pratis, we need gula pratis on. And then we use the power to heal him to tackle those things. The power to heal him goes goes straight to Kisa Kavod, right to Shemesh Barach, and change the very fabric of reality. Chulu chulu. Create your own reality. So today I had an epiphany, and I had an epiphany to go into the physicality. I was thinking about these aspects in the physical aspects. How can we look at, in order to be, there's nothing, in order to be, thinking, we're always like, Hashem save us, Hashem save us. But Hashem gives us the kochot and the powers that we can save ourselves, that we can be our own Mashiachs. So this is what I was telling my friend, we have to come to the point where we have to come to the point where, everybody has in themselves a little Moses, and everybody has a Pintaliyah, and everybody has a little bit of Mashiach in them. So we have to come to the point where we are Mashiach ourselves, that we can come to this Gula Pratis. And when we come to this Gula Pratis, then we'll have the Gula Klalis, then we'll, even though everything already is, we're able to see it Mamash, we're able to see it Beis HaMikdash HaShlishi Mamash, Chulu, 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 coming down from heaven. So what else was my point? And the way to do this. So we look at the physical aspect, we look at each thing that might be, we look at root causes, physical, physicality things, and then we go into spirituality. We can pray, we use the power to them to pray for each problem. We have to fix each problem to come to our own gula pratisim, chulu, chulu, chulu. So let's see the message of Hashem Yisbach. So it's Chaf Gimel Sivan, everything Hashem Yisbach, everything is Shkach Upatzim B'Dieket. So Pashas Korach, before we'll get into that. On Shabbos Yisbach, was our custom to recite the entire book of Tehillim early in the morning. Exactly what it's saying. It brings all the brachas and changes the very fabric of nations in the power of Tehillim, and hold it for bringing on that day. For bringing is already Gula Shem is Mitzvah. You sit for bringing, already we sit with the Rebbe. We sit for bringing, we'd have the wine, the kosher shabbat is the libations of the Mizbeach. 770s from the bima to the bima to the Aron Kodesh and to the roof is exact measurements of the Mizbeach. And then you have the Nigunim, the Shem of the Leviim. And I just saw today, so we're talking about the Kohen Gadol. Parshas Korach actually is interesting. See, everything Shkach Upatzim B'Dieket. Parshas Korach is talking about that the Inyan Korach, why Korach, which says we shouldn't be like Korach, Korach is Russia. So why in Parshas, because why is the Parsha named the Parshas Korach? Why is it named the Koirach? So I was talking to my Bresler friends, they said he did tshuva, so he did tshuva right before he won the bottom. He said, oops. I said maybe they have maybe the lost tribes over there, maybe they're living in the inner earth in peace. Who knows, I think it says that in Mefarshah. They're still there, and they rise, and Koirach might be one of the Kohen Gadol's, why would he might be one of the Kohen Gadol's when Mashiach was, even though we know the Rebbe is going to be the Kohen Gadol, but, because of course, as the Rebbe says, why is Parshas named Parshas Korach? Even though Korach was a Russia and his ways, he says don't emulate, not to be like, or don't be in those kind of ways. There's also inyan that Torah's Chaim, that all this kind of evil, Hashem's going to take care of this evil right now, because everything happens according to time, like the Shnei Zalman Ladi states. But let's get back to so why does the Rebbe, why is Korach, if Korach was such a big Russia, why is the Parsha called him? Because what Korach wanted was what every Jew should want. He wanted to be the Kohen Gadol. He wanted to be, so we should all strive to have this desire to be the Kohen Gadol. This is a good thing. But to go and act in chaos, and we know that I was reading a letter from the Rebbe, Nicholas Sarkozy, Rebbe says that chaos is where evil sits. Evil sits in chaos. When you don't have orders, everything's, this is the fields of evil is chaos. So we want, Hashem works in Sederim. We want to say the Pesach, say the Shtashos, Chulu, Chulu, Chulu. So we want Seder. And, good sits in Seder. That's the whole Inyan. That's the Inyan of Gula, is Gula and Galus. We do Seder, is Aluf. We Nechnis the Uluf Shalalam B'toch Gula. So we have Gula because we Chnis in Seder, we Chnis in Das. So we know that everything's from Hashem and everything that Hashem is about. This also ties in Inyan of Korah. So when each individual, when we strive, and so when we be there, everything's Hashem Yisparach. And the world is, if this is what Hashem's Ratzon, is the problem. Nadav Avihu, they went to Ratzu V'lo Shav, everything. Forget about the world. So it's not for everybody, but so it's certain times, in certain specific places, but the point is to focus everything on Hashem Yisbarach. One time, a person gave me the Rebbe, said, I thought about Hashem for 1 minute today, and the Rebbe stood up for him. So just think about that. Think about how, just to focus Hashem for 1 minute. So, but the whole Inyan is the Rebbe's reason where, the Inyan of Korach, that, he wanted to be his Ratzon, that he wanted to be Gon, he wanted to be that everything's Hashem Yisbarach, just Hashem Yisbarach, and like the famous story with the Balatan is he doesn't want the Olam, he doesn't want your Olam Haba, he doesn't want Olam Hazeh, he doesn't want nothing, just Hashem Yisbarach Ba'atzmo. So when we come to that point, then we're on the level of Kohen Gadol. So we can all be, we all have this ability to be, not only to be our own personal Mashiach within us, we have a little bit spark of Mashiach within us. We also have the point is to be a Kohen Gadol. That's when we put our priorities Hashem Yisparach, and everything's just then we're like the Kohen Gadol, reach the level of Kohen Gadol. Also when there's a home, a house that has Shalom Bayit, is basically the Shashlishi, Shechani B'toch, is a Shechina rests in a house that has Shalom Bayit. So, the wife is Shechina, and the husband's a Kohen Gadol, when everything's peace and love, and a proper home, and things done in the proper way, in order and peace and calm and love, So, okay, let's see what a message of Hashem is over here. My revered grandfather, Rebbe Mirage, gave the following answer to a question addressed to him by my revered father, Rebbe Shab. In the course of Giza, that took place in the winter of 5635, the evil inclination is called the animal soul. Not because it's bestial. On the contrary, at times it's like a fox. I was actually thinking about this. Fox, it levers around so that one needs considerable wisdom to recognize its schemes. At times, it even clothes itself in the garb of tzaddik, who is sincere and humble and a noble character. These was thoughts I was thinking about. We're coming to the inyan of evil and the way the Satan operates. The Satan works everything chaos. He also works in order. He wants everything kacha. Satan works in both. This is actually what the Yom Yom comes. I remember reading this at Yom Yom. So we want to come to a previous Yom Yom that discusses the solution to this. Is how do we know what's good and evil? Inyan. Also tzaddik emes, my brother Rabbi Chaim was told when you attach yourself to the tzaddik himself comes and saves you. So we want to know who's these true tzaddikim are. So we know Rabbi Nachman, we know the Rebbe, we know Rabbi Shimon, we know the Bava Salih, but there's a lot of sheker. We live in it's called Olam HaSheker for a reason. So we know the previous Yom Yom when the Rebbe talks about, the Rebbe brings rayat. We want to look at where it takes you. Hashem's ways, every way of Hashem is derech dakenom, it's pleasant and peaceful. So if it takes you to a place of chaos and uncomfortability and anxiety, this is ploys of the Satan and his demonic minyonim. The minions, they run after the Satan. If they sat in a minion, it would be okay. But that they're running after the Satan, whatever. So every individual's animal soul matches person nature. Person may be aroused by a great desire to study Chassidus or meditate deeply on a given abstract concept, though in truth this is just the counsel of the evil inclination and the machinations of the animal soul to keep him from praying and the like. So, time and place, we need to know what's right. Is the Cheshbon Nefesh, been looking within, we have to know what's right for each time and place. So sometimes you might think, oh, you're going to do this, you do this. Well, one of the ways you know is written in Zohar, and like I stated, what I stated previously before, from the previous ayam, one of the ways you know, like I stated in Zohar, everything that's not calm, is Hashem's ways is pleasant and peaceful. Everything that's lachatz, or anybody's trying to make you lachatz, and this is evil. So not the way of Hashem is brah, this comes from the Satan. I'll give you one of the things I was discussing with my friend, I don't know, because we're talking about this now. I was thinking about the whole story with Adam and Eve, and that's Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve. Hashem has, builds the world according to nature, there's a natural way of doing things, So, halacha too is the way, everything's according to, nature. But one of the things we're talking about is that one of the things I was just thinking about, the new, chidush I was thinking about, that, I was thinking about that there was actually no Satan in Gan Eden. It was actually, because we say every day in Tefillah, the Satan shelo yishlot aleinu. So Satan comes in many ways, from many different directions, comes to harass and bother and create chaos and anxiety, and all these things reality is that should bring out the best in us. But, Satan's a screwball and Meshugana, so he lost his ways. Reality is meant to be working for Hashem as well, but he went way beyond it, just to destroy everything and just, to go against Hashem as well. But, what was my chidush? There was no Satan there. She herself was the Satan. That she became the Satan shalet on Chava. She brought Adam down. This is one of the inyan I was thinking about, because we all have Satan. This is in everybody, male or female. If the Satan shalets on a person, so a person becomes like the Satan. And if the demonic nature's sholet on a person comes like a Shed Mazik, person becomes demonic. Depends. It's the way we behave. We choose. This was another previous the Dvar Machos of last week talking about this. That Hashem gives us in reality everything that we tool Hashem legamrei. Everything's according to B'derech HaMelech. Everything's what the king wants. It's actually something the inyan that was having something that I say many times. Thinking about this simcha shamitzvah. You have to know the great, not only to be grateful and thankful for everything, but the great joy and just tanug b'mitzvah, and the great simcha that a mitzvah is. And this is, the Rebbe who stated previously, we need to know this. It might be. We don't want to, we don't want to be tooled to Melech HaMashiach, because we're in Metzius and we're in Yeshus and we love ourselves, and that's a good thing to love ourselves. We all want to love ourselves, but the Rebbe said we need to focus on Simcha Mitzvah. When you get into Simcha Mitzvah, and we love our families, and we love our lives, and we're grateful for everything, we're thankful for everything Hashem gives us. As I always say, people told us, I said, I just want to, Hashem gives me a glass of wine. I'm a happy man. Everything is great. More Baruch Hashem. Anything was Baruch Hashem. I'm not putting limitations on it, but, everything Hashem gives is great. It's good. And Baruch Hashem, and thanks to Hashem. Thank you, Hashem. Baruch Hashem. Love you, Hashem. Where's my point? Now I lost my train of thought again. The previous Dvar Machos talks about the inyan of bitul. The truth is, reality is that we're bitul Hashem legam b'chol mikra, but Hashem gives us inyan free choice. Hashem wants to shoteh pula, with him. And this is the reason why Rebbe brings in another. Firstly, you could take two sichos from the Rebbe. One was the Rebbe, one who's against tzedakah that we see with Sodom and Gomorrah. That even though it's Sodom and Gomorrah, Hashem will bring back Sodom and Gomorrah and the Gula Hashem is a mitis, and will correct, and we'll have the lights of Torah with the Kelim and Tikkun, correct that situation, Tikkun. So number one, you see the reason they were destroyed wasn't because of their great sins or the perversions, was because they were against tzedakah. So we see right there, no, Hashem's Ratzon is it's tzedakah, and we bitul Hashem legamre, and if we don't, Hashem's an artist. Hashem looks and says, Hashem's the great artist. Everything's the artwork of Hashem's Yisbarach. Everything's the beauty of Hashem's Yisbarach. So we don't do according to the will of Hashem. So Hashem gives the Chovesh Chira initially. Initially, gives the Chovesh Chira. But we don't lose Hashem's. That's not good. These two schmucks over there, they're right. Oh, we don't need that. Let's put a nice tree over there. Hashem is always creating. Hashem doesn't stop creating. Hashem's the creator. He's always creating. We are the created. So that's another inyan. We have the inyan. And to be happy with the simcha mitzvah and all the good that Hashem gives us. This is when. It's another thing, when we choose out to bother others and do Agma Nefesh does this, or Rav Arush comes in Sefer, I think Gana Amunah, brings Din Kasha. Din Kasha could be anything. Nobody wants that. There's an inyan that we're miserable. As a person comes to bother them, what are you wasting your time bothering? We should only be doing Torah mitzvahs and good. In fact, Baal Shem comes as a person comes to the world 70 years, just to do one good deed for another. So we think our family, this is important. No, the Baal Shem comes says no, just to do one good deed. And if Hashem gives us infinite good deeds or two good deeds, Baruch Hashem, thank you Hashem Yisbarach. So you just have to understand the reality and what's actually happening and what's actually going on. So we'll get back into the point of bitul Hashem Yisbarach and bitul to the king. Hashem gives the Chovesh Chira in order to shatep pula ito, and we can see with another thing with the Rebbe comes manna min Shemayim. Why doesn't Hashem just put it straight into the stomach? Why do we even need food? Why does Hashem put the manna? Why is the manna for the person who's in a higher level spiritually? The manna would come right outside his door or on his table. But the person who was on a lower level, he had to go out, and the lower level you were, the further you had to work for it. As it was also tikkun. To purify and to make that person a better person, and to kind of tikkun at the midot and to lift them up. The Rebbe says Hashem wants shotef pula. He wants us to shotef pula. And this is the inyan chovesh b'chira. Hashem gives us a b'chira that we should shotef pula. But it doesn't take away from the inyan that we be too legamely to the melech macham lachim. As we see with Paro. So we see two inyanim. We see Paro is why Rebbe asked another, why were the Mitzrayim or Paro, why were they punished lechatchila if it was the Ratzon shel Hashem Yisbarach that Jews should be, or was the Gzeirah shel Hashem Yisbarach? Not it was Gzeirah shel Hashem Yisbarach. The Jews should be in exile. So you see, one Yaakov Avinu only saw that it was for Geula. This was the beginning of the Geula. It's only Geula. It's nothing else. But number two, the Rebbe brings the Rambam brings halacha. There only needs to be nuvuot, the good nuvuot, and the bad nuvuot don't have to happen. So for that reason, they never had to. They could have said no. They had chovesh b'chira. They could have said no, or they could have been kind, but because they enjoyed it and decided to destroy it, just like the Satan does today and is doing for who knows how long. So Hashem already. So at that point, Hashem took away Paro's chovesh b'chira, and that's why he had to harden Paro's heart. It says, and he hardened his heart. Hashem at that point said, you know what? You already chose. You chose, and I gave you the chovesh b'chira, and you could have been good, and you could have been good to Jews, and you could have said, no, I'm not going to do this. And you could have said, even if I have to do this, I'm not going to be hard on them. I'm going to treat them like kings do. Ben Melech, Ben Shem, we're all Banim Shel HaMelech. But instead they made life hard, and they destroyed, and not only they destroyed, they enjoyed, and they tanug and the evil. This is where evil, they tanug in the chaos and in the evil. So Hashem said, now I'm going to tell you, now you don't have chovesh b'chira anymore, hard in your heart. And now you're gonna pay the price. And this is the way it always is, because Hashem is fair, Melech Avtaka Mishpat, and Mida Keneged Mida, Chulu, Chulu, Chulu. Chulu, Chulu, Chulu. So I guess that's my points. I'm not sure if I had other points, okay. So let's continue. Adopt this principle. Remember it constantly whenever you encounter something that furthers or brings you to actual divine service. Another way to see what's right and what's wrong, and what's the true path and what's sheker. And we know emet. The words emet are strong and stand firm. Because emet endures forever. Emet going to not going to come Emet stands forever, and checkers, all the words are crooked. You see, also Kairach's name is actually interesting. I saw somewhere else. Kairach, you had the chet. The problem is the chet. If you would have had a hey in it, then you have the hey, and you take Rak Hashem. Everything's Rak Hashem. He says, no, Moshe Rabbeinu is from Hashem Yisbarach. You know, you're going against Moshe Rabbeinu now. Hashem appointed him leader. So who are you attacking? You're attacking Hashem Yisbarach. So we see where it brings us. There's words Hashem is right. It's chaos, anxiety, and mishugas. It's the Satan and his minyonim. Whenever you encounter something that furthers or brings you to actual divine service, anything that obstructs this, no matter how lofty, stems only from the intrigues of the animal soul. The animals of the Satan. After quoting the above teaching, Rabbi Father, Rabbi Rashab, concluded, until then, this is a very beautiful line. This is something I always think about. Until then, I did not know it could be a pious animal soul and even Hasidic animal soul. So we think the Satan comes from all directions. You have to know, I saw a saying, Satan's everywhere. He's dressed as a big rabbi. He's dressed everywhere you go, you're going to find the Satan. You can find these demonic, there's evil and good everywhere you are. You can look at the cup half full or half empty, like the story of the Rebbe, where the doctor told the Rebbe, you have a 50% chance of dying, and he said, Rabbi Schneerson, did you hear me? And Rebbe said, yeah, I have a 50% chance of living, so you can look because we always have, good and evil. This is the other Indian, I'm not going to even get into these other Indian, we think about the concepts, other concepts is thinking about, concept of Geula. And what does it mean? Hashem Yitzi Kol Ruach Tuma Min Haaretz and Shechita Ma Satan. It could be the Shechita is the Satan. It means you make the Satan a Baal Tshuva. The Satan doesn't shagay anymore. Satan's also working towards Hashem Yisbarach. When you put tefillin on the Satan, it makes you make the Satan a mensch, if that's possible. So that might be, we see this in the Gemara. With another seed, we see this where one tzaddik said the other shochet your Satan. He took away his taivas, which is inyan shchita shasad. That was the David HaMelech. He fasted a bunch of times, so he doesn't have the taivat anymore for this kind of evil. So when we, tame ourselves, when we tame our animals, when we, like I was initially as workers, we come to our personal gulot, with the hilim and with looking at each thing physically and how we can improve ourselves, cheshbon nefesh, chulu, chulu, chulu. So these are inyanim of transforming ourselves and the world and process. We come to a gula process. This is the process with the world to a better place. The world and the world to a better place. So we'll see, We'll see what happens, because, only Hashem knows exactly what's going to happen, but, the world, there's thousands, 70 faces of Torah, or even thousands, I don't know exactly, the statements, I don't remember exactly, but, things are happening on infinite levels. That's my point. So we can understand it one way, we can understand, like I already know, and maybe there's others, everything's already here. The Gula is already here, Mashiach is already here. I'll get into, just to emphasize my point. Or just, but things are happening in infinite levels. We have to understand. We have to try to come to understand, even though it's impossible. Like the Baal is impossible to understand that Hashem is God. His thoughts are not our thoughts. We have to understand what's happening around us. The messages from the king, is the simanim from the king. The king doesn't have to talk. The king gives us simanim. So we see in Zohar, Gula, I was looking at different things. So many things in the Torah, or in different parts of the Torah, in Pardas, in mystical portions of the Torah, talking about things that are happening in different dimensions, in different worlds. But it happens exactly the way the Torah says. So I was looking at different things. It says Mashiach ben Yosef is going to do this, and Mashiach ben David is going to do this. It's talking about different aspects of the inyan of Mashiach, different things that are happening, but that are happening right now, exactly the way the Torah says. And then it says, and then Mashiach is gonna destroy this evil and that evil. And a lot of things are talking about Hashem Yisbach B'atzmo. It's talking about the inyan ruach le'machafet apnei hamayim. And if you look at the news and you look at the things around, you see these things are happening. Like you see different avodah zarah falling, getting burned to the ground, and different enemy Jews falling all the time. So different things. If you pay attention, you see exactly according to Nevuot, exactly according to Zohar, exactly according to Toras Emes. Everything's happening exactly, but it's happening in infinite ways. The Gula is happening in infinite ways. Already happened in infinite ways. So comes down as one, the kabel pnei melech HaMashiach, 2, to open up our blind eyes and deaf ears, and 3, to goelet etzmeinu as well, to have to come to our gula prophecies, that we can actualize the gula shlemas amitis, and actually see physical based on midrash hashlishi. Let's open up and tzedakah. Tzedakah Elyon, Tzedakah Tachton, we give Tzedakah, that comes Ashkacha Pos Mideket. See, we Rebbe giving Tzedakah, so when we give Tzedakah, the coin is Yud, the hand is Hey, the arm is Vav, and the other person's hand is Hey, the Tachtona, Yud, Kei, Vav, Kei, come down to the Tachtona, and Tzedakah Elyon is to clothe the naked souls with the love and light of Hashem Yisbarach, to come the priest of nations of the world, and be the mashpim to one another in Tuv Levav, and Simcha Shalom and Tuv Levav, and Derech Noam, to give over the love and light of Hashem Yisbarach to the naked souls, which is love and light, Torah, or Torah Mitzvot, Chulu, 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 and we enter the words of the Tevot of Torah. We rise above the many raging waters, we enter into the Teva. So we rise above the Mabul, the raging waters of the world, and the mitzvahs is tzavtz, we connect Hashem Yisbarach. We do our jobs, we all do our jobs, and what's our jobs? By bringing the Or and Sof to our fellow brothers and sisters, to the nations of the world, and to all the world. Chulu, chulu, chulu. May God bless. Kol habracha lekol Am Yisrael. Ran out of vodka. Yes, it's one of the things. Whatever. It's one of the things. I think it was a good switch. Vodka. I was looking at vodka cost. Whatever. I'm not going to get in his purse, but I said, get some less vodka, more wine. Whatever. It's good for me. L'chaim l'vochas. I have water. Make l'chaim on mayim. Mayim avno chol chabot hava nafshi. Sheyesh aleinu Hashem Yisbarach. Hashem Yisbarach aleinu. Kol habracha lekol Am Yisrael. Peace, love, harmony, joy, kol tov, kol inyanim, achshav le'avod. Kol habracha deinu v'chatonim, kol gula pratis v'gula shalom z'mitzvah b'shia b'esem Hashem Yisbarach gucci b'ikru rabbanim shalom melech ma'acham lach menalim v'vaya Eloheinu v'on so boch mev men kol Am Yisrael mev men ken yotzana manetzes alved. Have the best, most awesome, infinite, awesome Shabbat Chagim Suda Dada Suda Mashiach Farbis V'duz B'huda M'huda B'hidu M'huda B'shaf Simcha Sham Tu Levav Ke'ad HaMelech L'chaim 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 L'vrocha Bli Levaka Ein Bacha Bli L'chaim Ein Shum Davar V'chadad Nemech Alam Shakoni B'varo L'chaim 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 V'levaka V'livacha. May God bless.